If we were to back up about 7 years, Tom and I were living in a townhouse, and it was one of those kind of like tri-level ones where you would walk in from the front door on one level, and then you could either go down a half flight of stairs to our family room or up a half flight to the kitchen and the living room, and then you went up another half flight, and that's where the bedrooms were. And so if you went downstairs, down that half flight, I still remember this feeling of like unsettledness, because on that lowest level was, like I said, our family room, and then the fourth bedroom, which I used as my office. And so that was really where the kids and I spent the most of our time. And at that time we had 4 kids ages 4 and under. And so, I mean, I could still like remember this and feel it so vividly that I would walk down and it just felt like yuck, because the family room, there was always toys everywhere. And then you kind of like went around the corner and that's where my office was. And usually my office, the floor was covered too with like toys and coloring sheets and just all kinds of, you know all the stuff kids have and do. And then my desk was kind of like in the middle of it. It like came out from the wall. And Tom would marvel at the fact that I could go sit at my desk and I could like just tune it all out. He would be like, how can you work in this mess? And I'm like, I just tune it out. Like, I just go to my happy place, which was doing like some web design and graphic design stuff. And I would just, I don't know, I just put on blinders and the kids would play and they'd watch shows and I would just do things that I felt good at, right? And it wasn't until now, looking back, I was like, well, oh my goodness, Dawn, no wonder it felt so yuck every time you went to walk down there, because all of this stuff was sending you messages. And we've talked about the, the silent to-do list a little bit by Fumio Sasaki, but he says that every single item in our house is sending us a message. And unfortunately, most of those messages are negative. So when I look back now, and like I said, I can still feel that like yuck feeling of walking into our family room. Well, no wonder, right? Because what was it telling me? It was telling me that I'm unorganized. It may be that I'm lazy, that I can't get my act together, that I'm not a good mom. A good mom would not have her 4 young children like just like navigating this like small path through their family room, right? I'm not a good wife. I knew Tom loved coming home to a tidy and picked up house, but most days I just did not even have it in me to do it anymore. And so that's why I would put on the blinders and I'd go to my desk and I would just tune it out. But again, I wasn't actually escaping those feelings. And I think many of us can relate to those feelings in our own house of it's always there and it's always sending us messages. But then beyond that, as I thought about it more, I think I often also felt deceived by this stuff, because what it was also telling me was, I'll make you healthier, I'll make you look younger, I'll make you smarter, I'll make you thinner, and I will make you more organized. And this stuff was telling me these things, and then I would get it into my house, and then it was just like it all got just like added to the pile of all the other stuff. It didn't actually live up to those things that it was telling me that it was gonna do. And so what was the natural assumption then? Well, there must be something wrong with me. It couldn't possibly be the product or the marketing that was trying to tell me how great this thing was going to be. And so if you hear nothing else today, what I want you to know is that there is nothing wrong with you. If these things have been sending you these messages, if you feel kind of yuck in your own house, there's nothing wrong with you. We have been targeted, right? We have been preyed upon. We have seen commercial after infomercial after Instagram ad after YouTube ad everywhere we turn, right? We know this. We are being marketed to, and they have spent millions and billions of dollars in research to figure out where to put the product in the store, where to put it on TV, how to catch us when we're vulnerable, and how to get us to buy all of these things. And it wasn't until I was sitting at that same desk one day and I heard a very kind and friendly voice say, did you know that you don't have to have all of this stuff? And you know what, now looking back, what I realized why that was such like a aha moment for me was because that's what I wanted to hear. I had been sensing in my soul, right, in my spirit, that this stuff wasn't making me happy. I knew it felt yuck. I knew I didn't want to manage it anymore. I knew I was tired of feeling like I had been wasting money, that I was managing our finances poorly. I wanted to hear that you don't have to have all this stuff, and this stuff is not the answer. I actually really wanted to hear that, and I wanted someone to give me permission to say, hey, you don't have to keep it. And so today, let's just talk through a little bit more about how this stuff makes us feel, but more importantly, how can we use that same information then to declutter our house, get it simplified so that we don't have all of this stuff taunting us anymore. Okay, so like I've shared before, 7 years ago, I heard Joshua Becker say, you don't have to have all that stuff. And I started Googling minimalism. I'm like, tell me more. I did not know this, right? But more importantly, I wanted to know, but how many do I keep? Where's that line between being mocked and just frustrated and annoyed by our stuff, but also I don't want to rough it, right? I don't want to go too far. I don't want people to think I'm weird. And I certainly don't want to get rid of anything that actually is helping me and making my life easier. And so I've been thinking about that a little bit more lately, and I'm like, how could we describe it to really make it easier to make these decisions when we are decluttering? And so I have this new idea. And what if we look at the stuff we want to keep as gold? Have you ever gone like panning for gold, or fool's gold, I think, in a lot of the places? But what do? You fill the pan up with sand, and then you shake it until it should be just the gold remaining. And that's kind of what we end up doing with our stuff. And I think it's a lot of times it's easier to look for the really good stuff, the gold, than trying to go the other way. And I mean, we kind of end up justifying keeping things, right? Like, oh, but I spent money on it, right? So if we instead switch this to looking for the gold, it makes it feel like a more positive experience, and we're not getting down on ourselves so much, because I've said before that decluttering is kind of like being confronted with every wrong decision that we've ever made. And so if you've stalled out with decluttering, if you've gotten frustrated, felt overwhelmed, again, there's nothing wrong with you, right? It's just that we are being confronted over and over again with the wrong decisions we've made, with the fantasy self items, things we had hoped we would be, projects that we didn't start, feeling like we've wasted money, on and on, right? And so again, there is nothing wrong with you. Decluttering actually takes a ton of emotional bandwidth. But I do feel if we can switch it a little bit and start looking for the gold, that it can make this process a whole lot easier. So what are we talking about? So this is a dress I got just recently. I wore it in our video last week. There were some comments of like, hey, where did you get that? It's super cute. And I agree. It's from Marshall's this season, just recently. And the brand is Solitaire, if that's at all helpful. But I don't normally wear dresses. I'm short. I don't often find dresses that flatter my figure. And so when I found this dress, I was like, that looks like it might actually work, right? And I put it on and I love it. It is so easy to wear. I feel comfortable. I don't feel like I have to adjust things. I feel like it's flattering. And so to me, this is gold. This is something that I enjoy taking care of. I enjoy wearing. It's not taunting me. When I look at it in the closet, it's not saying you need to lose weight, you need to alter me, or you need to suck in when you're wearing me, right? It's just hanging there being like, oh, if you feel like wearing a comfortable dress today, go ahead and put me on. If not, no worries. I'll still be here when you're ready for me, right? Like, if we actually think about these messages that this stuff is sending us, I know it sounds a little wacky sometimes, but if we actually think about it, it does change how we look at stuff. And so I look at this as gold. This is something that adds value to my life. I enjoy wearing it and I want to maintain it. So that is gold. But if I would show you all the other dresses that I have tried on over the years, or tried to make work, or thought, well, if I just lose a couple pounds, then it'll fit, I mean, I would have bags full of dresses. And so we start to look at this stuff differently. I want gold. I only have the bandwidth and the energy to take care of gold in my house. Same with, kitchen appliances. Is it gold? Do you use it all the time? Did it live up to the promises? Again, these things, we are sold so many promises. And so what we have to do is just ask for myself. It doesn't matter if my neighbor uses her NutriBullet every single day and she makes a smoothie every day and she's lost 50 pounds and all that, right? If I have had it for several months and I'm not using it, it might be gold to her. It's not gold to me. The gold in my life, in my house, is very specific to me. And again, if you brought this in hoping it was going to help to make you healthier, and it's not, there's nothing wrong with you. We didn't know. We didn't know until we got it in the house. Would it be as great as they said? Would it be as easy to clean up and easy to use and blah, 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 right? We wouldn't know, right? We're all different. So there's trial and error with all this stuff. So again, there's nothing wrong with you. If you bought something to try and be healthier, that's a very worthwhile pursuit. But if this didn't end up being the thing that helps you be healthier, that's okay. Let's pass it on, let it go, and you're gonna find that when you're not managing all of this other stuff, that you're gonna have more bandwidth to explore other ways to be healthier. And you know what? You might not even have to buy a single thing to make that happen. So again, if you take nothing away from this video today, there is nothing wrong with you. Now that we know, we just have to pay attention to the messages that this stuff is sending us and to how we're feeling in our own house. I got to do an interview with Dr. John Deloney the other day, and I'm hoping to share it next week. We'll see how it comes together. But he is a leading expert in anxiety. And so we were talking about the relationship between clutter and anxiety. And do you know what he said? He said, when our homes are cluttered, it makes us feel unsafe. Unsafe. I was just hoping he was going to draw the connection between like feeling kind of yuck with all this stuff around and validate my feelings of that, right? But he actually went so far as to say that it makes us feel unsafe in our own home. Isn't that wild? But again, there's nothing wrong with you. We just didn't know. I thought having that whole family room covered in toys, that's just what it looked like to have small kids. I didn't know. But now that we do know, then I do think we need to make it a priority to continue to declutter our house. But again, when we look at it this way of there's a lot at stake. If my home is making me feel anxious, if I'm releasing stress hormones when I look at clutter, if I feel unsafe, which also probably means my kids feel unsafe in here, there's actually a lot at stake. So then when we look at this stuff, we have to be really tough on it, right? We have to say, is it gold? Is it for sure something that I want to use my time and energy to maintain? Is it something that is going to send out positive messages in my house so that I feel safe and secure, and so that it's a place when I come home at the end of the day, I can let my guard down, I can relax, I can feel safe. So once we get rid of all of this stuff that is mocking us and nagging at us, and again, making me feel lazy and unhealthy and like a bad mom, once we move that out, that's actually now what makes me feel like a good mom and wife, right? I'm gonna link to a video of 5 ways to declutter faster, because like I said, I know it gets tiring, it gets draining, and so that would be a great next video to watch if you're like, okay, I get it, I hear it, I'm on board, so now let's get to work. All right, well, I love you, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you over in that video.